Hey there. In 1990, both Steven Spielberg and James Cameron were circling the same prize. The film rights to Michael Crichton's best-selling novel Jurassic Park, Cameron famously only beat out Spielberg for the Terminator franchise on the very last day of the bidding war for the first film, nabbing the dystopian future rights from under Spielberg's nose. But this time, Spielberg turned the tables. According to Cameron himself, he was in Hawaii shooting the 1990s TV miniseries about the aftermath of the Exxon Valdez oil spill when his agent called him saying, "You're too late. Universal has bought the film rights to Jurassic Park and they're going to make a deal with Spielberg." Spielberg ultimately got the film rights for a cool $65 million, beating out Cameron by mere hours. Now, it's easy to see why Cameron might have been interested in the prospect of directing Jurassic Park. His Alien films rewrote the rules for action-oriented sci-fi horror, proving that intellectual monsters can be just as compelling as supernatural ones. He showed that audiences wanted intelligent creatures that displayed cunning and strategy rather than mindless brutality. So naturally, he was drawn to the prospect of bringing a new breed of intellectual monster to life. But here's where things get interesting. Despite his love for sci-fi horror, Cameron knew that if he took on Jurassic Park, he'd be letting go of an opportunity to direct another film he was also very interested in. A little indie flick called Terminator 2: Judgment Day. Cameron later said that it wouldn't have been fair to the studio or the audience to release two big-budget movies within a year of each other. And given that Jurassic Park had a hefty price tag of around $90 million, it would likely have overshadowed any other projects. And Cameron was wise enough to know that he didn't want his next film to be lost in the shadows of the dinosaurs. At the end of the day, Spielberg ended up scoring the film rights, delivering a blockbuster that captivated audiences worldwide. But imagine for a moment the world in which Cameron had taken the reins. How would things have been different if aliens with dinosaurs had come to life? Well, let's take a look at James Cameron's filmography for clues. Cameron's previous work reveals a pattern of transforming genre films into thoughtful examinations of humanity. In The Terminator, he blended science fiction with action, social commentary, and genuine heart. Similarly, in Aliens, he infused the horror elements with even more action and a powerful female lead. With Terminator 2, he added a layer of environmental concern and pushed the boundaries of special effects to deliver groundbreaking visuals. So if Cameron had directed Jurassic Park, the film likely would have retained its core premise, but it would have been significantly darker and more violent. For starters, the raptors probably wouldn't have been so playful and adorable. Instead, they would have been ruthless killing machines. In Cameron's hands, the dinosaurs would have been portrayed as formidable hunters, showcasing their intelligence and predatory instincts. Imagine velociraptors leaping through the trees with ease, silently stalking their prey and attacking with lightning-fast precision. Furthermore, the tone of the film would have been much more grim. Gone would be the whimsical wonder and awe-inspiring moments, replaced by a sense of relentless danger and impending doom. The film might have been titled something more ominous like Primal Terror or Hell in a Handbasket. Speaking of doom, Dr. Ian Malcolm, the chaos mathematician played by Jeff Goldblum in the original film, might have met a grisly demise early on, proving that there would have been no quirky comic relief in this version. Laura Dern's character, paleobotanist Dr. Ellie Sattler, probably would have been written out of the film altogether. Her role could have been filled by a male character who could better handle the physical demands in life-threatening situations. After all, in Cameron's films, men intended to serve as catalysts for the hero's journey rather than active participants themselves. The character of Alan Grant, played by Sam Neill in the original film, could have been rewritten as a grizzled, jaded expert who's initially reluctant to get involved, but eventually becomes a reluctant hero. The Velociraptor's infiltration of the visitor center and subsequent slaughter of the children and staff might have been retained as a way to highlight the dinosaurs' intelligence and ruthlessness. But instead of showing the raptors herding the children together, Cameron might have opted for a more brutal approach, showcasing the predator's individual cunning as they picked off the children one by one. However, despite the darkness, there still might have been room for some witty banter between the characters, reminiscent of the truck-driving duo in Aliens. The chemistry between Sigourney Weaver and Carrie Fisher's characters added a touch of levity to the bleak setting. And Cameron might have tried to replicate that dynamic with two unlikely heroes. As for the ending, it's hard to say whether the film would have followed the original's ambiguous conclusion. On the one hand, Cameron seemed ambivalent about happy endings, even in his earlier films. On the other hand, he also seemed to enjoy subverting expectations. Perhaps he might have surprised the audience by giving them a conventional Hollywood ending, a happy ending of sorts. Or maybe he'd have embraced the chaos theory and given the raptors the last laugh. But regardless of the ending, Cameron's Jurassic Park would have been a far cry from Spielberg's family-friendly adventure. It would have been a brutal, relentless survival horror with a heavy dose of creature feature thrown in for good measure. It's possible that such a dark and intense film might have alienated some viewers and underperformed at the box office, especially since it would have been marketed as a dinosaur movie. Ultimately, though, only one director could bring dinosaurs to life on the big screen, and that director was Steven Spielberg. While Cameron's vision might have been intriguing, Spielberg's adaptation remains a triumph not just because it's a great film, but because it expanded the boundaries of what dinosaurs could be on the screen. Spielberg showed that dinosaurs didn't need to be monsters to be fascinating. In fact, he took this idea and ran with it, creating not just a film, but a cultural phenomenon. Jurassic World has grossed over $5 billion worldwide, making it the highest-grossing film series of all time. The park might have been doomed from the start, but its legacy lives on. Looking back, it's clear that Spielberg was the right choice to direct Jurassic Park. He had the experience, the talent and the heart to bring these prehistoric creatures to life in a way that both terrified and inspired audiences. While Cameron's version might have been darker and more intense, Spielberg's film that captured the wonder and awe that dinosaurs evoke in all of us. What do you think? Would you have liked to see Cameron's vision for Jurassic Park come to life on the big screen? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more entertaining videos about dinosaurs and other prehistoric creatures. Thanks for watching.